All right, welcome back everybody to the deep dive. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you think down in the comments.
Always appreciate those comments. Lots of good stuff down there.
Definitely. Okay, so you guys sent us this article, and it's all about, well, let's just say there's some interesting dynamics happening between President Biden and VP Harris on the campaign trail right now. And we're going to deep dive into that today.
Yeah, there's definitely some fascinating stuff going on here. The article really digs into this kind of tension between acknowledging a sitting president's legacy and, well, needing to carve out a separate path for the future. And it gets even trickier when that legacy is, let's just say, a bit complex.
Complex is one way to put it. Yeah, the
Yeah.
article basically paints this picture of the Harris campaign kind of strategically distancing themselves from Biden, even though he is the sitting president and her running mate. It almost feels like, and I'm quoting here, a slow-moving breakup.
That's a pretty striking image, isn't it?
It is. Okay, so let's unpack this a little. First things first, we got to address the elephant in the room. Biden's approval rating is currently sitting at a pretty dismal 39%.
Yeah, not exactly ideal when you're trying to rally support for your running mate.
Exactly. So how much of a liability is that, realistically, for the Harris campaign?
Well, historically speaking, low approval ratings can make things really tricky for a sitting president who's trying to help their successor get elected. On the one hand, there's the whole incumbency thing, right? They've got the experience, they've got the name recognition. But the flip side of that coin is they also become a very easy target for any voter frustration or dissatisfaction. And right now, there's a fair amount of that going around.
For sure. And it seems like the Harris campaign is super aware of that potential downside. The article talks about how they're pushing this whole new way forward narrative, almost like they're trying to draw a very clear line in the sand, separating themselves from, well, maybe not everything about the Biden administration, but certain aspects of it at least.
And that makes a lot of sense strategically speaking. They're trying to project this image of fresh ideas, a fresh start, while still, benefiting from the advantages of having this sitting president on their side.
It's a tough balancing act. And the article gives a really concrete example of this. Biden recently held a big rally in Pennsylvania, right? And he was straight up telling people to go vote for Harris.
It's a very traditional campaign move.
Yeah.
Get the incumbent out there to drum up some support.
Exactly. But then, and this is where it gets interesting, the Harris team sent out their day-ahead email, which lists out, like, all their campaign events and stuff. And guess what?
Biden wasn't in it.
Nope. No mention of him whatsoever.
Wow. Yeah, that's subtle, but definitely telling. I mean, you'd think having the president out there campaigning for you would be something you'd want to shout from the rooftops.
You'd think. So what do we make of that? Just an oversight or a deliberate strategy to downplay Biden's involvement?
It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely raises some eyebrows. It kind of feeds into this whole idea that they're trying to maintain a certain distance, to control the narrative a bit more.
And it goes even dumber than just optics. The article mentions there were apparently instances where Biden's team offered to have him make appearances at certain campaign events. And, well, the response from the Harris camp was supposedly less than enthusiastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's almost like they were trying to politely, decline the offer. Although, of course, the White House denies this, and they insist that everyone is totally on the same page and collaborating beautifully.
Well, that's politics, isn't it? Always multiple sides to every story.
It really is. And you know what else is interesting? With the election just days away.
No joint appearances on the schedule.
Bingo. Biden and Harris, no plans to hit the campaign trail together anytime soon.
That is fascinating. I mean, on the surface, it makes sense that they'd want to maximize their reach, right? Two candidates can cover more ground than one, appeal to different audiences.
That's a good point.
But on the other hand, you'd think that projecting a united front, especially this close to the election, would be a priority. So yeah, this choice to campaign separately, it definitely adds another layer of intrigue to this whole situation.
Okay, so bottom line, what are we seeing here? Is this just the Harris campaign being super strategic, playing the game, making the most of a tricky situation with Biden's numbers, or is there something more going on, like a genuine political rift between the two camps?
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, I don't think there's a simple answer. Politics is a complicated game, and there are so many factors at play here. We've got strategic messaging, we've got public perception, and of course we've got the ambitions of two very powerful individuals.
It's a real political thriller, and honestly, I kind of love that we're left with more questions than answers here. It really makes you think about what's really going on behind the scenes, What are we not seeing?
It's a reminder that there's always more to the story than meets the eye.
Absolutely. All right, well, we want to hear from you guys. What do you think is really going on here? Is this just a strategic campaign move or a sign of deeper political cracks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's have a discussion.
And don't forget to like and subscribe while you're down there. We really appreciate the support.
Yes. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today, everyone. We'll see you next time.